This is slightly terrifying for me because I hate public speaking, but my name is Caty DeCristofaro. For those of you who haven't met me but recognize my last name, my grandparents were Marge and Dom DeCristofaro, and they were long-standing elders and deacons here at St. Peter's, which is how my family found this church in the first place. I've been going here since about Christmas time of last year, and I have not regretted that change of church for a second. I've loved every second here. To know something about me is to know that I was recently accepted to USC to study costume design, and I run a small business doing custom costumes and dresses for people for events. I don't know if there was never a time when I lost faith, but it was a long journey for me to find it and what it actually meant to me. I grew up with, my parents, my mom who I dragged with me today, and my twin brother, and we, went to church every Sunday, and we, said grace before dinner. But it was just one of those things that your parents make you do, and you hate doing it, because as a kid, you don't understand. I didn't start to mean anything until I was a little bit older, but I was 5 or 6 with my cousin Bailey. Bailey is someone none of you have heard about, I think. She's from my mom's side of the family. She was the oldest child of my mom's younger sister, and when she was 10 and a half, she was diagnosed with a brain tumor called glioblastoma. She passed away in May of 2009, just before she would have turned 12, and I had just barely turned 6 years old. And that was the first time when I experienced death in my life, and I had to learn, how do you understand this? How do you get through it? And it still everything didn't quite fall into place for me then, but I would, see her in my dreams, and I would know, okay, she's still with me, and that kept me going as a kid. And then, unfortunately, it was in high school when everything kind of fell into place through the most horrible way possible, because in the span of a few short years, I lost all 4 of my grandparents, all within a few months or a year of each other over the course of a few years. Between 2021 and last year was when that happened. And I was devastated by it. It felt like as soon as I recovered from one blow, the next came, and then the next, and then the next. And there were other people as well in that same time frame, like my great aunt or a family friend who had been all but an extra grandfather to me. Except I wasn't okay, but I got through it, and I realized it was because I had been raised with this faith that told me that it wasn't a permanent goodbye, that it wasn't the end of having them in my life. And so, and then through talking with my parents more about religion and talking to my mom, who was wonderful, and just sharing the memories as they came up, it meant that, every time I see, a beautiful view when I'm on a walk, and I remember the pictures I would always send Poppy, who a lot of you knew as Dom, or we have ducks that sometimes like to live in our pool, which we always say is a sign of Nana, because she was absolutely in love with ducks. They were everywhere in the house. Or Mom teaches me how to make something like beignets, or another Southern recipe, one of my granny's recipes. Or we always say Uber instead of Uber, because Papa never said it right. He always said Uber. And it's those little things, and it's the little, moments when it's a cloudy day and the sun is shining through in that perfect one light beam that we always call portals to heaven. It's those little moments, and it's my faith that allows me to realize that all of these people I love are still with me in every second of my day. And it's a comfort that I would not have had without the family that raised me, and now this church, and kind of the love that comes with faith from complete strangers. Because half the people in this room I didn't know a year ago, and now I see them every week, or I text them and I hang out with them. They greet me with a hug every time I come in the door. And it's a community that I wouldn't have had without my faith. And it's made it so much stronger than it was when I was a kid.